This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. Sometimes we're in challenging situations, and many times we say, I can't believe this has happened. That this is completely out of my control. I can't do anything about it. Well, you can. In any situation, you have the power of choice. What you do in the next 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, that's your choice. No matter what happens around you, that's your choice. You're ultimately in control of your life and your future and the way you want to live it. We're going to talk about that today. Dig deep into the choices that we have, why we make them, and more. She is somebody that coaches people in many different ways, finding their true purpose, stripping away self-doubt, past traumas, and so much more. And we've got something special we can offer you a little bit later on in terms of that, learning more about choice. Heidi Meckley joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. How are you doing?
Well, and once I came to that realization about the choice thing, things kind of changed a little bit. It's interesting how it gets reframed. And I think it's also a lot of us like to ride in the pity party mode and forget about the choice thing. Do you find that's something that comes up when you work with people?
Absolutely. And I'm not so to the point where it doesn't affect me as well. There's times that I hear myself complain. I'm like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start coaching myself, right? Sometimes we have to do that for ourselves. And that's another piece that I help people with is learning how to be accountable to yourself and lead yourself first. But choice is definitely a massive piece. With the things that you go through in life, you've got to decide am I going to let this drag and connect to me for the rest of my life? Or am I going to learn what I'm supposed to learn from this so it doesn't continue to happen and I can live my best life because of it? There's something here I'm supposed to learn. Every single time we have a big bad choice that, that's coming up, there's, stuff's hitting the fan and you're like, what am I supposed to do here? You need to sit with yourself and go, okay, what is it I'm really going after in life? And what within this problem is going to get me there? What is it I need to learn to get past this problem so I can get through it easier? Because our choices really, really matter in this. And even deciding to say, I'm not making a choice is a choice.
Point. Because you ultimately have the freedom of choice. Now, I've heard this recently that we're all addicted to suffering. Every one of us in some way, some form. We don't even know we're doing it. But I would have to believe that is one of those things that's getting in the way of you exercising your freedom of choice. Would you say that that's kind of accurate?
100%. It seems like over the generations, it seems to get worse and worse. When we were kids, if we were griping and complaining, instead of being held and told everything's gonna be okay, it's like, okay, you're fine, go outside and play. Basically, suck it up, buttercup kind of situation. Now, there are instances, obviously, that doesn't work for, and I know everything's changed between then and now. However, when things are going awry, you have to understand that the only one that you can really blame is yourself for any of the decisions that you've made. It has to do with the people that we surround ourselves with, right? Because we're so looking outside of ourselves for the answers from other people that we're forgetting to look within to make the correct choice for us. What they have, their rules, their things, their beliefs, all the things that they have may not align with yours. And by going to them to get the help to make a decision of a choice that you need to make for you, you can use it as guidance, but you have to go within to make that choice. But back to what you were saying about everybody kind of wanting to jump on the bandwagon of being, woe is me, the victim, all of that. That also comes down to who you surround yourself with. When you surround yourself with the right people, it's amazing what will happen. It took me years to find the right people that would actually call me out on my BS. Because everyone's like, oh, no, I don't want to make her mad. I don't want to make her mad. I'm like, I need someone in my wheelhouse and around me that's going to say, hey, guess what you're doing? You're making excuses.
Mm.
Because the only way for me to grow is to have the right people around me to say, stop the BS. No, why are you going down this road? You know better than that. And by having those people around you, you can then make better choices to better your life, to get yourself in a much better position to reach your goals and dreams and be able to share around with your family and especially your kids that are watching to show them how it's done. Surround yourself with the right people.
I just got the download in my mind here when you said that nowadays more and more of us ride the pity party, are even more addicted to suffering. And my first thought was social media because, back then, suck it up, buttercup, go out there and play. Or if you're even a little bit older, somebody might even say that to you as an adult. Yeah, just get over it, move forward. Now you throw it out on social and then people respond to it and they're just feeding that. And I'm not minimizing anything. There's pain and suffering everywhere. There's challenges. I get it. But I think that just fuels the fire. And it's a fire that we don't really need to keep burning once we realize that we have choice.
Exactly. And yes, social media has been a huge issue of that, which is why it is completely different from when we were growing up as opposed to nowadays and going forward. Because look at all the bullying, look at all the things that happen on social media, right? Again, we have a choice. Do you let your kids do this? Do you put the parental things on there? It's your life, your choice, your rules. You got to make the decision for you and your family. No one else can tell you how to do it, what to do, all the things. You have to do it, but you are the one that has to live with those choices and what the outcome is after those choices and understand that it was your choices that got you there. Going to others and then allowing others to give you information that could be right or wrong. If you don't do your research, again, it's still on you because it's your choice. You are the one that has the final say.
Hmm.
But more importantly, with any choice is you have to take the action from that choice. You can't say, hey, I'm going to do this and then just let it flop. We have to have the action behind the choice to make the difference in our life and those around us.
So with the word choice, I want to dig a little bit deeper and also add a word to that. And that would be intuition. Because how do you, I guess that segs us into how do you make a choice? How do you make the right choice? And I believe it's your intuition, that amazing power that we're all given that sits there and it's kept it's kept the human species here. Because if we didn't have intuition, things radically in cave people time, knew there's a pterodactyl around here somewhere and, go back into the cave. And then, life goes on and here we are. What are your thoughts about intuition?
Well, first and foremost, it's not just women who have intuition. As you know, men also have intuition. I think this is one thing that people don't talk about enough. Men also have it too. And if you're in a relationship with anybody, you got to be able to accept their intuition as well, right? They need to protect themselves. You need to protect yourself. Intuition is about keeping you protected and keeping you safe. However, your intuition can be skewed if you've had a very traumatic life.
Hmm.
Then it is up to you because it's built into your subconscious, right? And your core memory and your core things. If you're not taking care of you and understanding that you have to rewrite those for the life that you choose to have so you can align your intuition with the way you want to live, it's going to be harder to get to where you want to go.
Can I interject one thing here at this point before we move to deeper into it? Yes, men and women have intuition, 100%. When you talk about the subconscious past traumas, I don't think it affects your intuition at all. It affects how you interpret your intuition. No, it's not, I went through a lot back in the day. My intuition is horrible. No, no, your intuition is spot on. Three words to go with that.
That's
It's
most.
always right. It's how you receive the information. And unfortunately, because of traumas, and we talked about that, we can circle back at any time. And also our subconscious, it's the filter that filters the intuition, waters it down, uh, makes you think that it's not right and all of that.
It totally makes it so that you're always second guessing it and
Yeah.
wondering, is it really right because of the trauma you went through?
Yep. And you know what? I didn't realize that until you just said it. I really did. Like, duh, where have I been? And I can think back all those times over the years where I knew what the answer was and I didn't go with it. And now that I'm gonna process this, Heidi, moving forward and in the next couple of days, what got in the way of me accepting what came up with my intuition and picking the other choice, which ultimately was wrong? What was there in subconscious? I'm not really sure. Got to think about that.
Yes. The only and the kicker with that, with looking back, is fantastic. The one piece that people tend to do is take the feelings with it when they're looking back. You have to look at it like you're looking at somebody else's life and you're watching a show and like, what would I have done differently?
Hmm.
What could have made the outcome differently? Because when you attach your emotion to it and you're reliving it over and over, that doesn't do you a lot of good either, right? Especially if it's trauma. But if it's just, like, well, what could I have done differently? And you're looking at it and you're feeling a little something, that's fine. You just got to pay attention to you, how you're feeling, and what it is that's bringing up, and actually dive a little deeper into that. Whether it is writing it down, journal it out, going, okay, I'm feeling like this, but why is this? And then again, trust your intuition. What first comes to your mind, write it out. Just sit, and when it's all in the feels, sit and write it all out. Then take a look at it without the feeling and say, I'm just going to read this as though I'm reading a book and see what I can see from the pages. You will see your pattern or issue within that writing as to what you need to see for the next time something similar happens, or what you needed to learn from that situation. Does that make sense?
Crystal clear. And many say go with the first thought. That's the
Yes.
answer. Because once you start thinking of choice B, choice C, that's where you're second guessing it. And then back to full circle here. Why you're second guessing it? It's from your subconscious. And I thought, funny we were talking about this because I shared with somebody last night, and we were talking about intuition. I'm not even kidding. And the way it's supposed to be.
That happens. Yes.
And I shared a situation decades ago where I knew what the right answer was, but I didn't go with it. And yeah, it was good, life changing. We'll just say that. As we're talking right now, Heidi, I'm thinking, why did I not go with why connected to past traumas, childhood, subconscious? Why did I make that choice and not the other one? And I got it. I know why. No, don't need to share it. It just now those pieces are pretty clear. Um, I don't know why I never thought about that. Why I always thought, your logic comes in and all of that. No, it's what's in what call it limiting beliefs. It just limited your ability to interpret your intuition, which I believe is always right. You have all the answers. Anything you need to know. Worrying about, should I take that job? Should I leave that job? Should I do this? You already know the answer.
Exactly.
You just got to hear it,
Always.
unfortunately. This stuff gets in the way. Hmm.
You got to trust yourself. And that's, again, that brings us back to social media and all the things and being around the right people. If you have people around you constantly questioning everything that you're doing, are you going to make the decisions you need to make? Probably not. If you have the majority of the people that you're around that are willing to call you out with love, obviously, not like, hey, you are doing blah blah.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
not a good way to do it either. You've got to have people that are willing to do it with love and be able to say, hey, you do realize you're everything you're saying to me in the past little bit and you haven't changed anything like you normally do. You're making excuses. What's blocking you? What is it that you're unsure of? And sometimes you might not know the answer right then and there. And that's when you start doing the inner reflecting. I'm all about looking inward because you can't lead yourself first. You can't make the right choices and all the pieces until you know who you are and who you want to be, because you get to develop who you are. And that goes back to your childhood when you have all the rules and all the things. When you get older, you have the right to say, those don't align with me. This is who I am. This is how I believe it should be done. So, this is my rules, my ideals, and how I'm going to run my life, not how I was taught, because that was great and it worked for them, but I feel it needs to be different. So it's okay because it's my life and my choice.
Hmm. And ultimately, it comes down to it's your choice.
Exactly.
What one final question on intuition? I love your idea of writing it down because now you're staring at it. It's it's almost like, the barrel of a gun and it's staring you right in the face. You can't deny it. It's
Yes.
there. What do you feel when your intuition is telling you something?
It's a little different for everybody.
Hmm. Sure.
Um, sometimes those who are intuitive tend to feel it in their head first. Sometimes you can feel it in your heart area or you can feel it in your stomach. That's why a lot of times it's called gut instinct, because the majority of people do feel it coming from their gut. If you're feeling drawn to have an answer, you're hearing something in your head, like someone's asking you yes or no question, and you know the answer is no, but you're trying to people please and you say yes, you just made a choice for them instead of you. You need to choose you first.
That needs a pause right there. You're right. You are right. Say that again. That's huge about the people pleasing.
When someone's asking you a question and you know the answer is no, and you say yes, just because you're a people pleaser, you have also given them your power and allowed them to take control of what you're going to do next because you said yes for
Hmm.
something you did not want to do. And it all, again, comes back down to that choice. You need to choose you first because you matter. You're worth it and you're needed on this planet or you wouldn't be here.
And you deserve certain
Yes,
things. I'm going to be honest. Later on today, I need to have a conversation with someone, and there's going to be a change, business related. My intuition knew the answer from the beginning, but it in my mind I was like, well, things have changed, so let's continue, in this mode of operation. Um, and then some things revealed, but I should have listened to my intuition. I trust in others and trust things have changed, but they haven't. And what told me that, as they say, little birdie on your shoulder, that's your intuition. And I'm choosing me in this situation. I am. I give and I'm take care of everybody, and this is not supporting. And now it came crystal clear. And isn't it a shame, Heidi, that we're afraid to make the choice in our favor many times for so many different reasons. People pleasing. Why do we do that? Well, I want to keep them in my corner. I want to keep them as a friend. I want them to see value in me. Blah blah blah. Um, Ultimately, you gave your power to them. That was your choice. But I don't fault anybody for that. That goes right back to what we said, the subconscious and those beliefs that we have, mostly from when we were a child. Um, any other thoughts on choice?
just remember to choose you first. And if you're going back and forth so hard about it, start writing about it. Do
Mm,
the inner work, find what you really want, and then prove to yourself that you're going to actually go after it by saying no and following your dreams, not everybody else's.
It almost sounds a little dirty to say, choose you first.
Yes, but we were given free will for a reason, and it wasn't to please everybody else.
And I think about that in choices and I'm trying to, process that. Choose you first. I agree with that. I never did, but I try to look at that in different real world situations in my head. Um, and you really ultimately can choose you first, but also benefit others. Like, let's say, have to have a, and I'm talking with somebody later on today. You set the time. If they can't do it, then you work out another time. But ultimately, you pick the time. You do have the choice to choose you, but it's not like you're excluding somebody's feelings. You're just making it best for you, and then you work around that with them. And if it's not right for them, pick another time to have that call. Okay, well, what about this? And then, as opposed to saying, what time is good for you? Well, you just gave them the choice. It sounds good.
It can all be done with love. It doesn't have to be nasty. Saying I choose me isn't a mean or nasty thing. It's I respect myself and I respect you. So I don't want to give you half of what I can do because I really don't want to be there. Right? Because we shouldn't have to explain ourselves, but you can just straight up say that's not something I'm aligned with or is going to fit where I'm going. So I don't want to give you half of what I could actually do. You want
Yep.
me because I can do this, but I'm not going to give it fully because I really don't want to do it. I'm just being honest.
Yep.
Instead of you hiring me or you working with me or me doing something for you and it not being to the level that you're expecting.
Mm-hmm. And same thing if it's just a work-related phone call
Friendly.
or a catch-up call. I think I shared them in a men's group. We do what we call dailies. So every week out of our group, we're assigned a different man, and every day we check in. Well, we try it every day, but whatever. How's it going? We do a 10 scale. How's it feeling? What are you working on? Whatever. But instead of saying, let me know what's good for you, I'll say, hey, are you free after 4 o'clock today? Yes or no. If they say no, all right, what about after 7? Because it supports you. You're still getting it done. And to your point, if you said 2 o'clock, well, I got 5 different things going on here, and in my mind, I'm not giving you my full attention. It's best to do it after 4 o'clock for both of us. A lot of epiphanies today. Got to tell you, good stuff. You are offering an ebook and insight on this and so much more. Tell us about that.
I actually have an ebook that actually also comes with a workbook. Both are free. It's called The Power of Choices. Very fitting for today's work. All you have to do is DM me on Facebook or Instagram and put in shift, SHIFT in the DM, and I will get that to you. And also a little extra something special just for those who are listening today. Being able to get an actual call with me for 30 minutes. So we can actually dive in as to maybe pick out your one very direct block that you may have. And just DM me at Heidi Meckley on Facebook or Instagram. I'm strictly under my name. Very easy to find because there's not many of me.
And that's Meckley, Heidi spelled as it sounds. Even in the last 20-something minutes, learned a lot here. Confirmed a lot for me, validated. And honestly, from this point forward, and I really mean this, I'm going to choose me first. I am.
Stop giving your power away.
Heidi said so. Thank you for today. Truly appreciated and looking forward next time we get together.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.